Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here. I have a lot of people asking me about what the fastest way to level up to level 20 is in the server slam, so you can do those Shava boss kill rewards. And I just want to tell you what I've done so far, and I've leveled up several characters to level 20 so far, and it's been pretty easy. So what I recommend doing first off is playing on World Tier 1. World Tier 1 is way easier than World Tier 2, but you get only 20% more XP for World Tier 2. It's not really worth it. You basically will clear enemies twice as fast instead of getting a little bit more XP for going much slower. So it's definitely not worth it to play on World Tier 2 at all, unless you're like an alt character that has a ton of gear, which we don't really have in the server slam. And so that's my first recommendation. The second one is, as you're kind of like following the main quest here, eventually you're going to make it to this town down here, Yelesna, right? And from this point, you can continue to follow the main quest, and that's totally fine. You'll eventually get like 2 legendaries for finishing it out. But what I like to do is I go over here to Dead Man's Dredge. And Dead Man's Dredge is a pretty good dungeon. It was pretty popular in the first beta. And we're just going to walk through this red line here. And there is a neat little trick in terms of getting a little bit more XP, is that there's all of these ghoul piles here. There's so many of these ghouls here. So many of these ghouls. And these guys give a decent chunk of XP. Hey, look, here's even more. And sometimes they bunch up like this on some NPCs. And there's just so many of them here. So I'd recommend doing, there's just so many of them here, right? So what I recommend doing is going and running Dead Man's Dredge, coming out, clearing all these darn ghouls out. This is like a lot of XP. This is like each one of those at least 80 or 90 XP, I think, at some levels. I think they scale up with you. You run Dead Man's Dredge in its entirety, and then you can even check over here for an event. There's an event that spawns here, and yeah, you just keep doing that. As you finish the dungeon, you can press E and press leave dungeon here, and this will teleport you outside the dungeon, and it takes about a minute to reset. So you can come out of the dungeon, you can run around this lake basically, and there's a whole bunch of these ghouls, which will give you a bunch of experience. And will they drop any fat loot? No, but geez, look how many of them there are. And obviously, playing a barbarian, I'm not clearing the best. Probably like a sorceress or a blood mage would do even more clearing power to these. As you can see, absolutely insane amount of monsters here. And if you see somebody else clearing these, make sure to give them a nice little wave.
Hello.
Hello. Because maybe they watch the same video as you. Now, the other thing you can go and do is spam events. And what I recommend doing is there's this website that I've been using, Pure Diablo. They have a pretty good map. And I'll share this in the description down below. But as you can see, this is the map. I've gone and removed everything except for events and waypoints and town. And so these little orange markers here, these are events. So I'll teleport to Bear Tribe Refuge Waypoint, go check if this event is here. Once you get close to the area, similar to this other spot over here where you could see the orange ring once you kind of got close. So you can see orange ring on the screen here. There's an event nearby. And that will tell you that, there's an event nearby. And so you can just check this. If there's nothing there, run south, check the spot, and then come around here, check the spot over here, and then run down here, check that. And then typically I'll teleport to town, go run down to here, and you can typically see this event from this point here. Check that. Once I've done that one, I run over to the east, get this one, run south here, and that's a nice little 3 event. And then I will teleport up here to Menestad, and then run these 2, and that's a nice little loop. And it tends to have these be reset after that, but you could even go back to Bear Tribe, go to here, and then go back up and go over to this one as well. And that's several nice solid loops from get you a lot of obols. Now the gambling for stuff isn't as good as it was in the beta, obviously, but it can help fill in slots where you don't have necessarily good gear, and is also giving you quite a decent amount of XP. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to do. And then I would recommend watching the Ashava video that I made earlier. I'll probably put this on the end title thing, so that you have some good tips for how to actually go and fight Ashava. But hopefully this helps you level up faster, level 20, and we'll see you in Sanctuary. Oh, and come by the stream.